Are you curious about a 10-day Vipassana meditation retreat? Maybe you've heard it from people, maybe you read it online, maybe you saw one of these videos on my channel. And have you been curious about trying it? In this video, I'm going to talk about 10 questions, 10 concerns that you might have as you get ready for your first 10-day course. I remember feeling overwhelmed. I remember feeling like it was such a big investment, such a big thing. And I wanted to make sure, that I was ready for it. And ultimately, I did decide to go, and it was the best thing that I've ever done for myself, ever, literally. This 10-day meditation, if you're thinking about it, you're off to a great start. And I'm just going to cover 10 things to help you get ready and assess if you're ready and maybe clear up some mistakes so that you can make the jump and start. The first question that we're going to tackle is, why should I consider Vipassana meditation? And the simple answer and the large reason of, why I started was I really felt overwhelmed and lost in life. And not that there wasn't knowledge out there, not that my parents and society didn't give me a script for what life should be like, but it just felt like I was not meshing with the script. There was this disconnect, and not only with the script, but just internally, I was overwhelmed. I had a lot of anxiety. I had a lot of hopelessness. And if this sounds familiar to you, if these feelings sound familiar to you and you feel anxious a lot of the time and you feel lost and you feel like you really don't know what life is, and maybe you're confused with what life is and you're just like following the script as we all do, but there's like a deep sense of something missing, this could potentially be it, right? Vipassana meditation could be what answers that. I'm not a professional, and I can't let you know if Vipassana will help you solve those feelings within you. But if you have like a somewhat decent life, right? Not perfect, but you got a job, you got a place, you're paying your rent. Sure, you're not rich or super wealthy. Maybe you could use a little bit more stuff, but you're generally doing decent. You've got decent relationships and all this kind of stuff, and you're still feeling empty. That's when you try meditation. Obviously, like if you don't have a house and you've got financial strains that are like extreme and stuff, take care of that stuff first. And then, when you're a bit settled in your life, then that is the time for Vipassana. That leads to the next question. What is Vipassana, right? Vipassana, the word Vipassana literally means insight, or to see things clearly, to understand and comprehend and experience things as they truly are. And as a technique, right, it is a non-religious sectarian technique that literally focuses either on your breath, and it's actually called anapana when you focus on your breath, or simply inhale, exhale meditation. But Vipassana, the technique itself, is you're scanning your body. You're scanning the sensations in your body. And so it's clearly like you don't need to believe in a God. You're not using, you don't got to believe in chakras, and you don't got to believe, all this other stuff that you hear about when you hear about meditation and all that kind of stuff. It's just, nope, your body, your literal physical sensations, can you feel your arm? That's basically what it is. Now, on the 10-day, you're going to go way deeper, and instead of just feeling kind of like the outline-ish of your arm, you can feel literally in a 1-inch square radius, just tons and tons of sensations. You don't need to feel that right now because you have not gone to a 10-day course, but that is what it is as a technique. It's just a very objective, very sectarian meditation technique that does wonders and is incredible. The next question is, do I need experience? You do not need experience to go to a 10-day meditation retreat. Like, you will learn everything, right? You will learn from the basics, from the start to the end, and it's very beginner friendly in the sense that you don't need to have any prior knowledge, right? You don't need to know any history. There's no prerequisites to go, basically. I will, however, say that it is helpful if you have meditated before, right? Like, no experience is wasted. And so if, you're considering going to a 10-day course, and let's say you're planning for it to be a few months in advance, Because even if you applied right now, like literally you stop this video and apply, you probably won't get in for a few months because there's usually wait lists and all this kind of stuff. But more realistically, you might be thinking of it a little further in the future, maybe a year from now, maybe 2 years, because, giving 10 days of your life, it does require some planning, right? Maybe you already used up all your vacation time and you got to wait until next year and all that good stuff. So if between now and when you actually go in a few months to a year, 2 years, or whenever, you do the Anapana meditation, the breath meditation, and I will leave a link down in the description. It's called Anapana meditation. It's the same teacher that teaches the 10-day course. You can have the video recording on YouTube, and you can practice, just focusing on your breath. And if you do this, 10 minutes a day, increase that to 20 minutes a day after a month or two, increase that to 30 minutes, have this progression. And if you build a meditation routine, again, whether that's literally 10 minutes a day until a few months, until you sit the course, it will be highly, highly beneficial. So, do you need prior experience? No. Does it help if you have meditated before you go to the course? Absolutely, and that's what I would recommend that you do. The next question is, what does a typical day look like at a meditation course? So every single day follows the same course, except the day that you arrive, the day that you're leaving. Those are like registration and, but the majority of the course, you wake up at 4:30 and you're going to be meditating until 6:30. Until 6:30, and then that's when breakfast is, from 6:30 to 7:15. But then you have till 8. And then at 8 a.m., there's a group sitting where you just get along with everybody, get into the meditation hall with everybody, and you all sit and meditate together. And then you meditate in your room or in the meditation hall up until 11. And then 11 to 12:30 or till 1, it says on the schedule. But really, from 11 to 11:45, you'll have lunch and eat your food. And then it's a rest period, so you can wash your clothes, you can take a walk, you can do a lot of stuff. And again, remember, there's no talking for the majority of for 9 days, there's going to be no talking at all. So any of these times when I say rest break, it does not include talking or socializing, only walking, just things that you do by yourself. And just a reminder, there's no phones, no reading, no writing, none of that. So most of the time you're just going to be meditating, or at least that's, what I did. And then 1 to 2:30, you're meditating by yourself or in your room or in the hall. And then another group meditation from 2:30 to 3:30. And these group meditations, the 8 a.m., 8 to 9, and the 2:30 to 3:30, you have to be in the meditation hall. But all the other meditation times, you can be in the hall or in your room. And then after 3:30, it's going to be a break till 5. You're going to meditate in your room or in the hall till 5, and then it's tea time or afternoon break at 5 until 6, and then another group sitting from 6 to 7, followed by an evening discourse, they call it. It's like an evening talk where there's a recorded video of Goenka, who conducts these 10-day courses, giving you a little bit of knowledge about what you've been practicing that day, answer some questions, give you a little bit of the philosophy, and it's usually from between an hour to an hour and a half of that, so it'll go from 7:15 to 8:15, 8:30, sometimes 8:40. And the reason that it's 7:15 is because, you meditate, group meditation 6 to 7, and then you get a break, about 10, 15 minutes to go, use the bathroom, do whatever before sitting for another hour. And then after that, you meditate till 9. So if the discourse ends at 8:15, you'll meditate for 45 minutes. If it ends at 8:40, you'll meditate for 20 minutes. And then at 9, people can ask questions of the teacher. Teacher can ask the teacher questions. Also, I forgot to mention, from 12 to 1 is also meeting times with the teacher, and you can sign up for in advance. So there's going to be like a sheet like a sign-up sheet where you can have a private interview. But then after the 9 p.m., it's a little more public, where you can just go up to the teacher and ask a question. Obviously, if there's a queue and a line, you'll wait. So that is more or less what the day-to-day looks like. And it's really incredible. It's really conducive to you just being in by yourself, meditating. Of course, you're surrounded by people, but nobody's looking at each other, nobody's talking. So expect it to have a lot of meditation. If you are wanting a course that's like, oh, I just meditate for 1 to 2 hours and the rest of the time I'm socializing, and that's the kind of meditation course that you're looking for, this is not that. This is not that at all. This is literally 12, 14 hours a day of meditating, listening to the discourse for 1 hour, 1 hour and a half. And that's literally the only information consuming that you do. So be ready for that. And that leads to the next question. What should I bring to a Vipassana course? Well, you should definitely bring whatever the weather is going to be like. Look ahead, because all centers, even in America, right? There's some in the South where it gets just super hot pretty much year round. There's some in the North where in the, wintertime, it'll be super snowy and super cold. And so for sure, bring clothes that's appropriate for the weather that you're going to be in. Like I know the center in Washington, right? Like if you go in the springtime, there is a lot of pollen. And so you have to be careful about the pollen. If you have like pollen allergies, maybe you don't go during the springtime, or you bring whatever medicines that you need to make it be good. Now, the other thing, if you're going to a non-US center, and this doesn't apply to Canada, I kind of include Canada. If you go to a non-US center, like let's say you're somehow traveling to India for some reason, and you're like, I want to do my 10-day course there, and you're American, I would highly recommend, if you could, bring a kneeling bench or some sort of contraption, because the centers in India and all over Asia, and basically in countries where people are much more used to sitting on the floor, sitting cross-legged, and it's kind of second nature to them, they do not have all the cushions and all the bells and whistles that you're going to get at the American or Canadian centers, where people Americans and Canadians just do not sit on the floor cross-legged, to eat their meals and all that kind of stuff. So if you're going to center outside of that, and if you can sit comfortably cross-legged for 12 hours, well, not 12 hours straight, but for very long periods of time, you don't got to worry about it. But if you're more like an average American and you want to go to a center over there, I would highly recommend bringing a kneeling bench. Other than that, just dress for the season. The center will provide, bedding. You'll get your bed, you'll get your pillows, pillowcases, covers, blankets, towels, hand towels, bath towels. If you bring some soap and stuff, but if you don't have some, you could get some at the center. Obviously bring your toothbrush, toothpaste, bring all your toiletries. What I like to do is I'll actually go to Costco, buy like a big pack of, a 4 or 5 pack of toothpaste and like all these big stuff. And then I'll just obviously use a little bit of it, and then I'll just donate that to the center for future students, so that if people come, and they forgot some body wash, there is a huge body wash that is left there. So either way, that is what you can bring. Just be mindful. And if you ever forget anything, the center will have you covered.